So 2025 is the 50th anniversary of Super Sentai, and to celebrate that, Japan has been going all out. And one of the things that one of the broadcast stations, NHK, did was do this big massive event where fans could vote for their favorite robo, their favorite season, and their favorite ranger. And I believe it came down to the top 100 rangers, the top 50 mechas, and the top 20 seasons. And the next couple of videos is going to be me going over those lists and talking about which rangers made the list, because there's a lot I could go over with what rangers that Japan voted on as their favorite mecha, as their favorite season, and as their favorite rangers, because the opinion does differ from the west to the east, you could say. And it's very curious to go over this list because I have seen it floating around online on Twitter, but the Ranger Wiki was cool enough to have it actually as an article, so that way it's more easier for me to go over. Plus, with them listing everything, and I can actually have picture references and stuff like that by bringing it up on their wiki. But it's really interesting to see this list because I've squinted at it a few times, I've looked at it a few times, and it's very interesting to see what top 10 rangers actually made the list and what stayed in the lower rankings with everything going on. So we're going to go over this list right now and talk about it. Okay, so I want to start off with the top 20 seasons in Super Sentai with what they all voted on. So this is what Japan voted on. I don't know if the West might have rigged the poll to have their influence in there. I have no idea. But let's go over it. So these are the top 20 Sentai seasons voted by Japan. So number 20 is Taiyo Sentai Sun Vulcan. Now, I haven't seen Sun Vulcan myself. I haven't really checked it out. I know of it. I know what the suits look like and stuff like that. I know what the mech looks like. But I haven't really seen Sun Vulcan for myself. Number 20 is Jetman. Now, Jetman is another Inoue series that I freaking love, and Jetman is really good. If you want to watch an older Sentai series that's got a really good storytelling, really good characters, I recommend Jetman. I'm surprised Jetman isn't higher on the list. That's crazy. Jetman, it just made the top 20. It just scraped by. Next is Time Ranger. Time Ranger I haven't seen, but I've seen Time Force when it comes to Power Rangers. But I'm glad we got Time Ranger on here because I believe people love Time Ranger in the West as well as Japan. Die Ranger. Die Ranger at number 17. Now, I love Die Ranger. I binged it during our lockdown because I was recommended it by Geekdom 101, and I sat there and I watched all of Die Ranger within the span of 3 days, I think, plus breaks and everything like that. But Die Ranger is fantastic. And I think I watched it twice within that year because I watched it by myself, and then I did a watch party in Geekdom's Discord where a bunch of people watched Die Ranger for the very first time. And it's one of my favorite Sentais to go back and watch. I really love Die Ranger. When you watch Die Ranger, because you've got no Power Ranger season to compare it to apart from the mechs, Die Ranger is a beast on its own that I highly recommend checking out, and I'm surprised it's not higher. Kira Major I love. I watched Kira Major when it came out. I didn't watch it weekly. I watched it when it finished. I binged it. Another lockdown series I think I binged, and I really enjoyed it as well. Go Anja I haven't seen, but everyone tells me that Go Anja is alright, but they prefer RPM better, but they're different beasts within itself. Margie Ranger is one of those series. So Margie Ranger is number 14. So Margie Ranger coming at number 14. Margie Ranger is one of those series that a lot of people tell me to check out. I know I like the suits from Margie Ranger or Mystic Force. I'm aware of the differences between Margie Ranger and Mystic Force, but I haven't seen the series. I have it on my ticket machine, as I usually say, but I have to sit down and watch it. Go Busters at number 12. So Go Busters is a Sentai series that it's a good series from what people, I haven't seen it. And I know I haven't seen a lot of these series, so I can't weigh in on myself, but I hear there's a lot of word of mouth from a lot of people. But the thing with Go Busters, a lot of people say that Go Busters is kind of underrated, but it's still a good series because it's sandwiched in between Go Sager. Well, no, it's sandwiched in between Go Kaija, because then it went Go Busters, and then it went Kuruja. So it's sandwiched in between these other two good series that are beloved within the fandom. But people say that Go Busters is a lot of fun as well. Kako Ranger. Kako Ranger is another older Sentai series that I've seen from start to finish. I really like it. I really do like it. Zenkaija coming at number 11, so almost making the top 10. Zenkaija was a series I enjoyed at first, but then I struggled to keep up with it weekly. If you go back and watch my Zenkaija reviews, I think I made it all the way up to episode 10 or 12, and then I just dipped because I just couldn't be bothered covering it. And I just stopped watching it for the longest time, and then I came back and I binged watch it leading up to the finale when all the Hellkaiser stuff happened. But Zenkaija, it's cool to see it here. Like, I feel like Zenkaija needs a lot more love. Go Ranger, the original Super Sentai series, made it into the top 10. I would be I would be shocked if the original OG Super Sentai series did not make it into this list. Like, it barely made the top, 20. But it made it into the top 10, which is great. I have not seen Go Ranger. It's too long for me to check out. It's something that I want to try and watch. But a lot of that older Sentai series, because it's very episodic, I struggle to watch it. But I appreciate it. It had a big impact. I've read the manga because I bought the manga when it came out. But I have yet to see it myself. All right, so number 9. This is where we get into the top 9 or the top 10. And as you can see, it's a really interesting list we've got going on here. So number 9 is Tokuja. Tokuja I watched. I can't remember if I finished it all the way. I think I didn't finish it. But Tokuja was a really great series that I watched. And I definitely love it because it's one of those series that never got adapted into Power Rangers. So I definitely wanted to check it out for myself. Because the only thing I knew of Tokuja was trains, train-based suits, and the big cock Megazord. That's all I knew about it. And I finally watched it, and from what it was telling me so far, I did enjoy it. Koruja. I freaking love Koruja. So Koruja was one of those series that I binged when I wasn't working full-time with my job and I had days off before I was 5 days a week. I would be watching Koruja every chance I would get. Come home from work, watch Koruja. Day off work, I'm going to binge Koruja. And I think I binged it within the span of 2 weeks, a week at least, because I was working a job and stuff like that. But the whole reason why I wanted to watch Koruja was because I watched the King Osha crossover. And I've been aware of these characters, I've been aware of these suits, and I wanted to check them out for myself. And I just fell in love with the series, the characters, the story. It was amazing. If you haven't watched Koruja, definitely check it out, give it a watch. Deca Ranger. Deca Ranger is another beloved series with the fandom. They always bring back Doggy Kruger, so it shows that this show does have a lot of impact in Japan as well. So I can understand why it's here. So Deca Ranger coming in at number 7. And these next ones are really interesting, because a lot of these are very recent entries that I've seen. Coming at number 6 is Don Brothers. Now, I loved Don Brothers. Don Brothers is when I started reviewing Sentai weekly on the channel. If you haven't watched my Don Brothers weekly playlist or weekly reviews, go check him out, because you get my impressions of Don Brothers every week with how much I love this series. And it's great that this series is on there. I feel like it should be higher, but I can understand why there are other series on this list that people would have voted for. But Don Brothers is great. I love Don Brothers. And now we go into the top 5 of Super Sentai series. So next up is Lupin Ranger vs. Pato Ranger. Series I have not seen yet, but a lot of people say it's really good. So like I said, I guess my opinion isn't valid because I haven't seen a lot of these series, but a lot of people tell me to check out these series, and I get that. So Lupin Ranger vs. Pato Ranger is up here. One of the most highly requested Sentai seasons to get adapted to Power Rangers. And when Simon Bennett said no, police officers can't, or thieves or police officers can't be Rangers, the one of the two that he said, the internet lost their freaking minds. Okay, coming at number 4 is Boon Boonja. which Boon Boonja is all right. I like Boon Boonja. I preferred the other ones on this list higher than that came before it. But I feel like I don't want to say recency biased because, this is a list coming from Japan, so they would have voted with how they felt about the series and the characters. But seeing Boon Boonja up here in the top 4 after it just came out is really interesting, really, really interesting. But I like Boon Boonja. Boon Boonja was a lot of fun. I felt like it felt slow at some points, but I mostly stuck with it and made it to the end. I jumped in near the final arc, but I think there was some story arcs or some episodes I just didn't watch. Number 3, Shinkenja. Okay, if you haven't seen Shinkenja and you've only seen Power Rangers Samurai, watch Shinkenja. Watch Shinkenja and check it out because Shinkenja is amazing. It's really freaking good. It's great characters, great story, great action, and I can understand why Power Rangers Samurai gets called the 4 Kids Shinkenja, because a lot of those plot lines were lifted from Shinkenja. They literally copy and pasted the plot lines in Shinkenja, which is crazy. Now, number 2 is King Oja, another very recent series that came out a couple of years ago. King Oja's great. I know it has its flaws, like in the second half of King Oja, where some things feel a little bit weird, but King Oja is great. I really, really like King Oja. Amazing series, fun series to watch. It did take a while to get used to the CGI backgrounds, and there's some scenes where you can see the jank with the motion tracking and stuff like that, but King Oja is great. And then number 1, of course, is Gokaiger. Gokaiger coming at number 1. I know, a lot of people might say Gokaiger is overrated, and I understand where they're coming from, but Gokaiger is one of those beloved Super Sentai series in the West and in the East. A lot of people say Gokaiger is what got them into Super Sentai because of the great legendary battle that they would post all over you would see posted all over social media. It's how I kind of became a little bit of aware of Super Sentai a little bit more by seeing this clip all over the place of all the different ranges. And although I tried watching Super Sentai when I saw this floating around with Gokaiger, I would come back many years later to give Super Sentai another try, and then I eventually fell in love with the genre, I will say that. But yeah, those are the top 20 Super Sentai series voted by Japan themselves. What do you think of this list? What is your top 20 Sentai series that you would have on this list? Do you disagree with this list? Do you not disagree with this list? I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. I feel like some series could be higher, like Jetman and Die Ranger. I feel like they could be a lot more higher as well. But with this list, it's an interesting list, and if you're wondering what Super Sentai series I should check out for myself, well, maybe have a look at this list and you can go from there. But what do you guys think of this top 20 list voted by Japan? I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. I don't know what the next one will be, whether I'll cover Sentai Rangers or Sentai Robos next, so definitely stay tuned for that one. That is for sure. But this is probably going to be the next couple of videos that I'll be posting over the next couple of days, where I'll be going over this list that Japan posted. So with that said, I'll catch you guys later. Peace out. Take care. Bye.